Hi, I'm April. I worked in newspapers and traditional media for about 15 years, and on the side I've done little bits of like content writing for startups and self-published a couple of books, but I've just formally left the security of that world now, and I just want to get into do my own projects full time. So I'm very interested to hear more about people who can actually do it for a long time. So it's pretty big.
My name is Drew. I spent 15 years in the education industry. I started up a couple of my own brands of language schools, one in China and one in Vancouver. I left it recently because I got bored and I wasn't learning anything new, so I came out here. I'm working on a couple projects right now. One is building a financial system and a booking system for private training centers, and the other one is blogging on a website, and neither one of them are earning yet, and so I want to try to figure out how to do that, because my weakness is marketing, and I think I have a lot of valuable good stuff, I just can't get it out there. So that's where I'm
My name is Michael. I'm originally from Germany. I lived in California most of my life. We're working with fancy rich people in California to build aquaponics systems, which is a sustainable food system. Then I'm spending another quarter of my life in Cambodia to help communities with aquaponics, especially children, teaching them aquaponics to help others. And another quarter of my life is here in Bali, where I would work on my website and some digital stuff. So that's it.
I'm Peter, a visual artist from Germany, and my main focus is photography and recently also documentary filming. But I make my living teaching art in Germany, and I come in U-boat since 3 years. Every summer, every August I'm here. Yeah, that's it.
So I'm Tiago, I'm Portuguese, I'm a software engineer. I had a venture-backed startup around education, typical Silicon Valley startup, lived in San Francisco for 2 years. Sold the company this year, and now I'm really curious to know if you can do the same thing with just one person remotely. So,
You can.
Yeah, so that's my
I ask what's your background, just a little about yourself, so we can understand better what should we go advanced or basic. What
I major in France. I'm from the States in Indiana. I also had a venture-backed startup. Haven't sold it yet. Still alive. But I stepped away from daily operations to take some time off after doing that for nearly a decade. So I'm here in Nomad. Been here for 3.5 weeks, and I plan on starting becoming like a startup consultant, just from all the lessons I've learned from doing the startup. So yeah.
I'm gonna do a little introduction. Okay, hey everyone, welcome to the Nomad family. Good that you're here at the skill share session with our digital nomads. They're gonna tell you a bit more about their life. You can really throw in questions, whatever you want to know. They're there to help you. For Friday, we have a green school tour. You probably heard about the green school. If you want to join that, let me know. And on Saturday, we're going cycling with all of us. So if you want to join, it's going to be really fun. We're going to start at a mountain and then drive down to the beach. So if you want to join, let me know and enjoy your time here.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Welcome. Kashfi asked us to do this little panel today to kind of help you guys out with your questions. So I guess we'll start with introducing ourselves, since we already now know who you are and what you do. My name is Michael Burns, and I am a copywriter, content writer, creative consultant, and storyteller. And I've been technically a digital nomad for about a year now, but I've had a long career, and I've been a freelancer the whole time, and have moved around a number of different places. So technically I was sort of already doing it in the United States beforehand. My background prior to what I'm doing now is that I've been a writer for about 20 years, and I also had a parallel career in film and television. Most recently, I worked as a television producer in Los Angeles on reality and documentary type shows for the 5 years before this. And before that, I worked in the grip and lighting department on studio feature films and major television series. And I've written pretty much everything that you can imagine writing. Currently, right now, I'm doing copy, web copy for businesses, sales pages, web copy, landing pages, email, marketing communications, all of that fun stuff. I also blog. I'm published in short fiction, and I've sold scripts for television. And that is my intro, and this is Povilas.
I'm Povilas Brand. I'm here to help you with any questions. I've done probably everything possible to do as entrepreneur, a digital nomad. I've started coding, back and front end, done sites for my girlfriend. We have 4 sites. We have online programs, we have detox programs, we have books on Amazon. So that's one part of business. Another business, I have an agency where we have a team of people where we will do SEO for you, we code backend, we will provide the copywriting, everything. So you will come with an idea and we will provide everything in a certain amount of time. Also have a website called What's Your Life Purpose, my personal passion, helping people to stay focused, get shit done, be a productive. I have a ebook, how to be a productive, because like there's just so much distractions that I want to watch a Game of Thrones. I have this party on Friday. Like, why exactly why did you come here? What's the purpose? And that's why also might help you with that. If you kind of know where you're at, you need kind of this path where I should start, and then because it's very, very important. That's about it.
Now, Kashfi, did you guys have prepared questions for us?
Yep. So basically, can you tell us more about how can you start your digital nomad life?
Okay. So how we started specifically. For me, it was, I'd always been freelancing, and like many people, I came upon the text that's sort of the Bible to a digital nomad, which is the 4-hour work week first. And that sort of opened my eyes to go, oh, wait a minute, well, why am I not doing this already? And what had actually set that off before is I had a rare opportunity while producing a television show to work remotely, which is very unusual. And I was basically the LA office, and the show I was working on was being produced in Virginia on the other coast. And I really enjoyed working from home and having a lot more free time and not sort of being under the thumb of a boss all day long, which is really refreshing. And that was kind of my first inkling of, yeah, I think I can do this. And I'd been in, I guess, 5 years before I was television producing, I was living in the Bay Area for a few years, San Francisco, and I had helped build a startup. And it was a small record label, independent, for local artists. And I basically did all of the content for that, and I really enjoyed it. And I was kind of in a spot with television production where I could see that the business itself was entering a downtrend, and I kind of wanted to get out and work on higher quality things, or things that I came up with myself, my own products, copy, etc., choose my own clients. And so at that point, I began putting into order a plan to basically go freelance as a writer full-time, where I'd always either been doing it part-time or on the side as part of another job like producing. And for me, basically the big break came when I decided to do it, and I told everybody that this is what I was doing. And I went and I changed my LinkedIn profile, and I made a couple of posts on Facebook telling people this is what I was doing now, and literally within a couple of weeks I landed several clients. And that was my big moment to go, okay, yeah, this is really working. And just at that point, I began making travel plans. And after a lot of research, it was choosing between either here or Chiang Mai. And in a very Ubud moment, the universe kept pointing at going to Bali. Things would happen, like I was literally driving down the street, and I would be listening to a podcast and in traffic, because I was in LA and there was always traffic, and it would suddenly started talking about going to Ubud and making a business, and I would look up and I just turned on the Bali Way, and I was like, okay, so I was paying attention to all these little moments, and I ended up here, and I've just managed to keep the momentum going with business ever since, and it's been a very good fit for the way I used to live as a freelancer and moving around rather. So I got started.
And be pain or pleasure. So when I started, I worked in finance in the UK and then other countries in the city, and when I saw my boss got a very fat paycheck on Christmas and I got just a few £100, I got really pissed off, and that was my like, I'm really smart, I can do this stuff, but because of the company structure, you will never be able to earn as much as if you will work for yourself. So there was like some sort of pain. So some people are motivated by pain and some people are motivated by pleasure. So you have to ask yourself, why are you here in Bali? And what is the main reason why you're here? Are you here just to have a holiday? You can do that. You want to have a party? You want to have a little both? I can. So you have to ask this big question. That's very important. Now the two is the skill. Now if you have a skill already, you're already on a fast track. So a skill can be anything that is used in a marketing, content writing. I'm good at communication. You can make people curious or interested about you, so you have some sort of a skill that grab people's attention and something unique about you. So that's very important. So if you don't have that skill, you have to just take about a year or two to learn a certain skill that you are passionate about. So when I started, I already was even before PHP, just a language for coding. There was like HTML, and when I was little, I was already experimenting with that and had a gift for design. So there are certain skills that you have that you can already apply, either from your personal, professional, from your hobby, and you have to ask yourself, what are these? And the best way to do is ask yourself, what would you do for the rest of your life for free? So and the first thing that comes up, just start writing on a piece of paper and ask yourself, what would you do for free? And because as Steve Jobs said, I think that if you do something with passion, you will be able to keep it on even if it's very hard. People will reject you, people say they will not give you the job, but you still be able to keep on and going. And if you do some sort of, I'll give you an example. One of the projects with my girlfriend, we did custom diet templates, and I had to, within design, I had to create these templates, and I have every single client, they paid $595, and I freaking hated it. So I said, no, I don't want to do this. We got people, we got the money, but I don't like it. So ask yourself, can you do this for the rest of your life, maybe for 5-10 years? If the answer is no, don't do it. So select a skill that you're really good at or you already have, or if you want to learn that skill, take 1-2 years of your time and learn that skill. Be very and become a specialist in the specific skill that you are. Don't be an expert in everything. I'm an expert in everything. Be an expert in specific skills. So if you go to me with Facebook ads, I have no freaking idea. I've done it, it didn't work for me, I will hire a person. If you ask me how to optimize a sales pitch to convert really well, like 15-20%, I can do that for you because I've done it a lot of times. So select a skill, and then yeah, that's about it, I think.
But what about your story?
My story is I can earn. Basically, I'm not motivated by money, but I'm motivated by what money allows you. So I can travel, I can go anywhere, wherever I want. I can visit my family. I don't have to tell my boss I'm taking a 2 weeks leave. Is it okay? I don't have to do this anymore. I can just go wherever I want, and sometimes I can take 2 months off. You can never do that in working in the city. So there's like pros and cons. There's a security issue where if you when you become very skilled and you have value, you believe in yourself that you have value, you will not have that anymore, because at the beginning, like, nobody knows me, like, but when you get really good at, so for example, one of the best ways to get really good at is get courses from the best people in the industry, what they do. So I can give you just a few names like Frank Kern, Andrew Chapron, Marie Forleo, Brennan Bouchard, Jeff Walker, some names that you can, they're like the best in a specific area. So when you go through that course, you learn it. It's like copy paste. You don't have to spend 10 years to find out what they've done. You can just copy, just pay $1,000 and you get their knowledge. And then you have to apply it and become an expert, and then get your first client, and then you will start making money. Because one of the biggest problems I had, and I had this talk many times in here in a booth, and there's like on Friday we go for drinks, and I ask them, what do you do? I'm a business coach. And this is very funny because I had this like 3 times. So how many businesses did you build? This is my first one. So a business coach teaching someone business and he hasn't built any business, and this is like very common thing. So people start telling I'm this, but they haven't done shit about that. So you have to be really, what are your skills? What are you good at? And you should not be delusional. Either you have it. If you have it, take a year or 2 years to find. I mean, it takes years, but when you get it, you're an expert, and people will pay for you for that. Don't try to fake it. Like I'm a life coach, and you probably know, like most people, like a lot of times what I found out when people say a life coach, not to offend the ones that are real life coaches, they probably haven't done anything. They just like kind of traveling and they're like, I'm a life coach. So what have you taught? What are the results? I always ask, what's the best case? What was the best case scenario for a client? And the way they respond, I can tell that they're shit, they're good at, or stuff like that. So ask yourself, be very honest with you. What will actually people pay you $100,000 or make a bet on you that you'd be able to do that work? So, yeah.
Are we taking questions? No? Yeah?
Sure.
Just a question on that, because, as far as I go, I'm not the greatest expert in the world, but I'm pretty good at what I do, and I know a lot of other people here are pretty good at what they do. So I want to know if other people struggle with, and if you have some answer for that, how to best market yourself outside of your own personal network, right? Because like I have a lot of things that I know this thing is really good. How do I get it into the hands of that niche market where I don't know personally people in that niche?
Are you good at communication?
Yeah. Communication as in speaking, yes.
Yes.
As far as finding those people to speak to.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You mean your circle? You mean your friends or your co-working friends?
Yeah.
Do they know what you do?
Yeah.
Why did anyone refer you in the past?
Did anyone
Have you gotten referrals
referred
through
for
your
services
network?
for you in the past?
Well, I always ran my own businesses.
That's not the answer. Did anyone refer to you in the past?
Refer to me
As like, oh, he's doing sites, I don't know what you do. Like he's doing, email this guy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah? So what's the problem then? So if people already do that, because if they don't do that, so probably the best way is like, if I want to get clients, I would like, if I get a new client, I'll even post on my Facebook wall, or I just closed one client, or like when I finish the project, he's very, very happy, and I just like express how I feel, and people like, oh, he's probably good, and people will, or you can also, what I did, I can give you my personal example. I've done, in about 2.5 months, I've done 12 talks throughout Bali. I've done in Dojo Bali, I've done in Ubud, and I've done an Outpost. After that, I got booked for 6 months. So and also you said you're good, but you're not the best. So first of all, maybe ask yourself, how can you become the top 5%? What are the top 5% in your industry would do to become the best people in that? So I mean, if you're average, okay, but or above average, I don't know, but ask yourself, how can you become the top 5%? What would you do? And then just ask, if people trust you, just ask like, hi, I'm free in 2 months, can you refer someone that you think would like my services? And also what's very really, really good, I've created a template of like a proposal template, and I've showed to Michael. That's very, very sharp, that actually talks about me, about a portfolio, what I'm able to do. And when you show your portfolio in a very well designed manner, it's like a PDF 8 pages. Yeah. If you want, I can show you after this break. It shows that, okay, if his proposal looks sharp, his probably work is going to be really, really good. So you're kind of telling him unconsciously that you're going to do a really good job. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, no, more or less. Yeah.
I mean, what is it?
So
I have a follow-up.
ask.
question as
So
well.
Okay, well, let them do the follow-up.
Yes.
I don't want to
Yeah.
talk all the time.
Go on.
Here's a concrete example. So the first book that I wrote, I put it up on Amazon, and it's kind of personal, so I didn't tell any of my friends.
That's exact same as me.
I'm totally introverted,
I
and
got-
I hate this stuff. Okay, and I didn't even get. I pushed a couple of friends to write reviews, and none of them did, because they're like me. They're like, well, I don't know, this slack or whatever. Anyway, but only very close friends, only 2 people. So I ended up with maybe I've got 20 reviews, and they're all 4 or 5 stars. So I know it's a good book. And when I first wrote it, I had a publisher interested, but I didn't push it anyway. So I know it's a good book, but I was getting maybe 1 download a day, which, and I mean, some people might think it's good, but I think it probably could do a lot better, because it's very topical.
That's-
story.
is it paid or free?
Sorry?
Is it paid or free?
Paid.
Okay. How much is it?
$3.99
Okay. US or pounds?
US.
Yes. Okay. That's okay. So you want to know how you can improve that?
Yes.
Okay. So I've done the whole course about Amazon, so I can go like, you have to pick the right keywords,
Yeah.
a description, the name, the cover has to be really, really good. Also, there's about there's like about 50 sites that you can put ads about your book, so it helps with the SEO. It also gives a boost of people coming and buying your book. So when Amazon sees that every day, let's say your book is promoted on website 1 day 1, website 2 day 2, it's like you're getting flow of traffic every day. So Amazon picks it up, and it starts to showing you even more to other people, and people, organic traffic from Amazon will see your book more often, and then it will start to pick up. Also, another strategy is when you write the first book, write the second book, and you promote that book inside that book. So the second book can be for free, so you'll get maybe 300 downloads a day, and out of that you get people buying your book, and you can put a voucher in it. That's another strategy. Also, done sometime. I mean, yeah.
I'll take this one. So both of you guys I hear 2 questions in there. One is a little bit dealing with a bit of imposter syndrome, right? And so you're like, hey, I'm good, but there's other guys that are better. And you're like, I wrote this book, but there are other authors that are selling more. But the fact is, the fact that you're here and you're already doing what you're doing puts you way ahead of other people. And there's so many people out there that need the services that you're providing, that you don't absolutely have to be the best or in the top 5% to get these people, to get these clients. But what you do need is confidence, right? So you just need to believe in yourself that you can do these things and that you are the shit that you're selling, right? So I think that's one thing, and that's just something you need to work on daily. There's a lot of different strategies for that. You know, there's affirmations, there's trying to do something great every day. Like, what are you doing for yourself every day to move forward? Like he said, right? Are you taking a course? Are you reading a book? Are you spending, an hour, half an hour of time working on whatever skill area you're weak in? I think that's something very important, is your own continuing education, especially when you're out on the road and you're by yourself. And then even doing something like this is part of that. You just put yourself in a position to listen to people. So I think that's something that can be fairly easily overcome. The other issue is in terms of getting the word out and getting marketing out. In both of your cases, I would say, well, for one thing, it's digital nomads, and this is something it took me a while to overcome, because I personally hate marketing, but we all have to be marketers, and we have to be marketers of ourselves. And for me, I'm a writer and I'm marketing other people too, right? But for a long time, I was just like, oh, that felt icky, but then once you realize, like, this is how we survive and this is how we all make money, it's okay. And you kind of have to accept that into your life, first of all. And then some strategies that might be helpful. I agree with what Povilas said. Social media is fantastic for that. LinkedIn is fantastic for that. Write things on LinkedIn. Approach your network. Position yourself as an expert in your field through publications on blogs and on LinkedIn, on Medium even. Build yourself a little reputation so people can go back and look at work. Constantly post what you're writing, put it on your Facebook, like, hey, I just wrote this here. In terms of your book too, I would say you should take maybe a month. Now would be a really great time, and figure out, there's plenty of resources that I've read and podcasts that I've listened to, and you'll be able to find this information easily. Do a proper launch. You said you put your book up and you didn't tell anybody. Well, of course it's not selling anything. Nobody knows it's there. So take time and plan out a proper launch. Get friends or people that have read your book and been giving you good reviews on Amazon. Get them on board to be influencers. Do a proper launch. Give copies away to people, and set yourself up for success that way. And what is your business?
I'm doing a few things. One of them is a financial and booking system for private training centers.
Okay, so you need to figure out who are, let's say, the 10 people that you would most like to work with, who would be your ideal clients, and write the most kick-ass proposal that you can and send it to them. And then figure out who the 10 are below that and the 10 are below that, and shoot for the top first, and then work your way down the list, and just go after the biggest clients you can, and present yourself as a person who's going to charge those rates that those people would pay for your kind of work.
And that's part of the thing, though, because I used to be those guys running the schools. And basically what I'm doing with my software is I'm telling these other people how they need to run their business, and when people did that to me, I always slammed the door on them, right? So now...
Do you use that though? Do you use that in your proposal? That I've been where you are, I've shut the... Like, that's what I would do. I would say, I was you. I shut the door in my face multiple times. This is why it's different. I have been you before. Like, you have to use that as your experience.
And then also think of the angle of, like, what would get you, when you were in that position, to not shut the door, right? What would be the offer that come in that would make you go, oh, no, I'm going to explore this further, and use that in addition to that, right?
Yep.
I have an idea for you. So, what is the biggest problem for your potential customers? What problem? What's the problem? What's the number one problem?
For that one, they don't know that they need this software so much, and they don't know who I am or where I am. They're in Hong Kong and I'm here.
The software, so it's like a booking service, like a Ticketmaster, or
no? That say you're running a bunch of classes with different teachers. It puts the teachers in with the students. It tells the students which class they're in. It takes their money out of their account and puts them all together, and just organizes the school, so they're not using pen and paper to take attendance and stuff.
Okay, so
It's a database.
go online and find out every single thing about this issue, like, and write 2,000, 3,000 word blog with pictures, videos, and everything. Very comprehensive blog. Like there's like everything you need to know about this. So like if people would search for something like that, your blog will be the best out of the best. So you just like, you probably take you about a week to write that, and then what you do, you write that blog, you ask people to share, but you would approach every single client of yours and or on Twitter, on social media, and or just say, I wrote this blog, I think this will be very valuable for your company. Please, when you have a chance, have a read. Don't sell anything, don't say anything. Just tell them to read that blog, that's it. And a lot of people like will start sharing with others, and if you get results, like they will come back to you asking like, can you help to solve our problem?
I have some questions about just like more high level things. If I
Can I say, let me say one thing, another thing real quick before, as far as finding clients, which is an ongoing problem for many of us as freelance digital nomads, is, and a good resource that you might want to tap is your previously existing clients or people that have referred you before. Write them a really nice email, contact them, however your means is, and let them know you're looking for new work, and if they have anybody else they can refer you, or ask the clients like, hey, your previous clients, is there something else I can do for you? I have this and this now to offer. You can also possibly offer a referral kickback fee to someone that throws you a job, whatever is appropriate, or that could also be in terms of merchandise or services or money, depending on how that works.
Did you have a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's really related to that. You kind of answered my question, but basically the question was, yes, everything works for, as your theory states, for the consulting guy or the girl, but as they have a product, actually two products. The book is a product and the software as a service is a product. I also am trying to market a product. I do have some customers, but the way I got to them is through direct sales offline. So I physically moved myself into the building, had a meeting with the lower management, then the upper management, and then I closed the sale. It's the easiest way to gain trust, is actually to look them in the eyes. How can you achieve that without being physically present? That was my question.
Okay. It's quite, I have to explain a lot of stuff, but you have to have a website, you have to have a freebie, some sort of value, and you ask them to subscribe,
like
and
trial, whatever.
a quiz, a trial, some sort of
Be a
a checklist,
Sure.
an audio, anything that's consumable within 5-10 minutes, so they can just download and kind of. So once you teach them something, this guy is valuable. So, and they will be interested to continue with a subscription. Then you can offer your services or some sort of a trial, or that it's paid like for $7, $50, and then there's a called a tripwire, which is like a cheap ticket. Before, after they get a freebie, and then there's a mid-core offer, which is like $500, $200, and then there's your core offer, your $2,000 program or whatever. So just follow that system. So if you're interested, check Jeff Walker, the product launch formula. That's like everything what you need to know how.
Michael, my thing is, a lot of us, I guess, were corporate or had a stellar salary. So to break off from this, I was curious how long it took you to get back up to where you're currently earning, and how have you seen that over the last year of ebbs and flows? Like, is it consistent?
Well, for me, I've been in an ebb and flow pretty much my whole life. That's a good question. I would say it probably took me about 8 or 9 months to get back to where I was, and so I was definitely went through a few savings along the way, but and it's been a learning process too. But as I've always been a freelancer, so some of it's new and some of it's just going and applying the things that I was doing before to hustle up work. And what my current goal is actually to get out of the admin flow. So right now I'm in a process, and this might also apply to your question as well, where I'm basically leveling my entire business up, doing new things like putting together a new, shinier, more beautiful proposal, using the model that Povilas provided me, and improving the quality of all of my customer communications and documents, and reframing who my ideal customers are, with the goal of landing retainer clients, so that I will have a level baseline cash flow going forward, and that'll allow me to pick and choose which other products that I would, and projects that I would really like to work on.
And did you work in corporate first before you broke off and started the websites, or no?
Povilas?
Sorry?
Did you
Yeah,
work in corporate
yes.
before?
Yes, I did.
So how were you guys doing the websites on the
No.
side?
No.
So
That
how
was just
long
my
did
hobby.
Okay, well then how long did it take you as well to kind of get back to
From-
kind of where you were?
I mean, it depends when did I try to treat this, because it always was a hobby. I never actually got paid for it, but when we left the country and we said, so what we did is we took 2 years off and we took every possible course. We spent like $50,000 on courses from the best people in the world. Took 2 years, and then we started, and I think we did it within a week. We made our first 600. So to answer your question, it doesn't really matter how long it took me or Michael. It matters of your skill and your confidence level. So for example,
Oh, I know that much. I got that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because like we're supposed to ask you guys about your lifestyle. I'm
Cool.
curious to know if it
Yeah.
like took 5 years. Like you took
Yeah.
a very different
Yeah.
course than he
Yeah.
did, and I'm just kind of.
because like I didn't want to wing it. Like
Yeah.
I kind of know, like I just took every single possible course to learn. Because like when you have knowledge, and then you just need to execute that knowledge. One of the biggest mistakes you could do is learning without applying it. That was like one of my biggest mistakes. So when you learn something, apply it somewhere. What would be the best example to show it? So as an example, I'm creating for a client an ebook, and I know how to work with InDesign, but I felt like, oh, let's do a refresh course and let's take new courses that are more advanced. And while I'm doing the ebook, I'm taking the course while I'm doing it side by side, and the ebook becomes so amazing. So I would not learn how to edit video while I'm doing the ebook. That makes sense. So do something that you're gonna get paid for, or something that has potentially to you get some sort of financial benefit or some sort of.
So in other words, like if you have get a job writing landing pages for somebody, and it's your biggest client yet, maybe take a course simultaneously or read a book about how to make killer landing pages. Just kind of make a complementary skill and apply what you learn right away, also, so you get a reinvestment on the money you spend. So, Kashfi, did you have any other set questions for us? Because otherwise, I had an idea.
I have a question
for what I want to do.
for all of you. Can you think of one question that, if that question will be answered, that will dramatically change your life for the next week? I mean, it will save you weeks or months of work. Like that one question.
That's a good question.
What do you mean, sir?
Can you think of a question that you want to ask us, that if you get the answer to it,
Big impact.
that will impact now, but like for example, that's very current that you really need help with, right? Like just for example,
A current challenge.
if I would solve, like, just imagine your path here in Bali, there's like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. You might ask a question about stage 3, but if you're not on stage 1 yet, you can't move to stage 3. So what is that, like, what do you need now?
So maybe we could just go around.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, you're itching.
So
Yeah.
I have a very boring question, but paradoxically important and significant. So, tax residency, fiscal planning, and operations.
Mhm.
Where should you incorporate if you want to become a digital nomad? That's
I
basically
can
the
answer
question.
that.
Yeah.
if I may.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
if you have $5,000-$10,000,
Yeah.
you can incorporate in Hong Kong, Dubai. It's tax free. If there's also that's like expensive option. You can also do private express trust, but you have to spend like a lot of time in law. That's also, you can create vehicles that you pay 5% tax or 0 tax based on, and it's all legal.
Okay.
That's what like option 2 is Estonian
I did that.
e-residency. I think it's 15%. That's
20%
option 2.
when you distribute.
And option 3, when you just start, I think you shouldn't worry about that, because like each country, for example, in the UK, there's I think up to £10,000 tax free. So if you're like in every country there's a tax exempt a certain amount, like $15,000 or $10,000. So when you're just starting, you will not make $10,000 in a month. Well, so you should not worry about this. When you hit a certain amount of money, and living in Bali, it's way cheaper than living in Europe. So when you have option 3 will be just pay that 20% or 15% off, or you do option 1 or option 2 or 1.
The main thing you need to do is, if you're not a financial person, talk to a financial person, right? I have an accountant in California. He handles all of that for me. I'm a writer. I'm not doing math all day. I send him some receipts. He takes care of it. It's money well spent. You want to stay out of trouble with local jurisdiction and your home residency.
But your fiscal residency is in California, right?
Yeah. As a United States citizen, my Uncle Sam is the biggest tax collector in the world. He will come find you wherever you're at. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I can get away with incorporating this.
So you could I do have the option that I could incorporate in Estonia or somewhere like that, but the financial ramifications are different depending on where you're from. All right?
Thanks.
So let's talk to a professional.
Maybe building my photo archive, I don't like all this tagging job, and I'd like to find a possibility to automate it or whatever. So my huge photo archive has to be tagged, so when I upload it on Shutterstock or other platforms. So that's a bit the nasty business, the post-production.
So you have a problem, it takes too much time uploading your images into and tagging them. So, okay.
So, I would suggest, if you want to work on this right away, you have all these lovely people from Start Me Up, and you should talk to Claire or Annabelle and get an intern. That's one way to attack it, and then otherwise consider outsourcing this. Get yourself a VA in the Philippines or
I have a friend that has
somewhere
like a
else,
Philippines assistant. He's had her for like
and
3 years.
outsource
and she
it.
does all stuff for like so cheap.
Yeah.
Just
I
get
already
the
have
number.
an address on that, and I thought about it too. I would get into it to check out if it works.
Yeah, it's because you don't need to be sitting there tagging photos when you should be making photos.
Yes.
Just pay someone the money, and then because then you're going to be able to upload these things much easier and have them turn around, and it'll pay back the money you spent on the VA right away, or you go to free group and get an intern and teach them something about photography along the way and give back at the same time you're getting help.
So delegate.
Mm-hmm.
Michael?
Pass right now.
Huh?
I don't have anything.
Okay, cool.
right now.
Okay. Actually, I run a company in Singapore. Okay, the biggest issue I face is with the resources. Obviously, I have resources in Singapore. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hire somebody in, say, Indonesia or Philippines, and that's not really working out for me. What it really means is, I can't scale up my business because at times I get involved in operations, which I really don't want to do. I want to spend more time on sales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so obviously.
What type of job do you need to delegate?
Okay, so it's mostly
Admin?
It's mostly responding to customer queries. So every day we get let's say 10 to 15 emails, okay, and we have to respond that. And my conversion happens only through emails. So it means a well-written email can convert, okay, which means to sales.
Okay, 2 answers. Answer 1, create an email autoresponder where they would sign up for some sort of free service or trial, and through the 7-9 emails you embed the answers inside the email. So, and you are teaching them something, and while answering the emails, actually there's 3. So 2, have an FAQ on your website, the most common questions. That's fine. So that's fine. And option 3, create templates for, with the most common answers that people ask, and just train and just sit down with that person that you're with, and just like, if this guy emails this, you reply with this email. So automate everything for them. And I mean, if you provide the templates, I mean, you just need to copy and paste and just sit down with them. Sometimes even pay a little bit more to that person, so he's not some sort of, he's like smart, you know, and sit. And to find these people, I've asked people who already have some sort of people that can work, or just a trial and error. Just go to a freelancer, Upwork, and just try. After maybe 20 per person, you'll find that person.
Take advantage of the Ubuntuians Facebook group for things like this, to post up there, hey, does anybody have somebody they can refer me to do X, Y, or Z? Because it's a really great resource, and then you're dealing with people that are basically families that are going to give you some good recommendations.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, the marketing thing is, I was talking about before.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And may I just add that these all don't have to be business questions.
It can be anything. It can be like,
Yeah.
I just like would like to know more people like here, like, or I feel like I'm just working by myself and I'm kind of bored here, or like, it can be anything.
Well, I've got some passive income and some savings, but I'd feel more comfortable having more. Do you have any ideas on just quickly getting my cash flow up? Or
Yes. So do you have a skill that is very like that you'd be able, so people will pay you for?
Well, content writing.
Great. So you contact Hubud, Outpost, and Dojo Bali. You create a presentation about something that's very, very valuable, and you do a talk here. You'll meet so many new people. No, honestly, like, this is like, this is like amazing. You have free access to about 100 people. Like, so in Dojo Bali, you're probably looking at 30 or 50 people will come. Here in Hubud will be about 10 people will come, and in Outpost, and you can do every month. So I've done 12 talks, and I've just got like swamped with work. Not from people here, but people who saw me. They referred someone in Australia. They referred someone to.
Yeah, let me take this one. First of all, I ordered a band to come by, so I think you guys like this. Quickly for you, I'm actually giving a presentation next week in storytelling and copywriting and stuff, so you may want to come to that and you'll meet some people. I'm also starting a Ubud Writers group, which will be a good opportunity for you to meet some people. We're going to have our first meeting at the end of the month. All these things will be advertised probably by the end of the week. Ubud Community as an authors group, you might want to get in touch with, join that, and they have some good meetings there. And I have a list, a spreadsheet with like 75 or 80 places where you can find freelance writing jobs, which I'll happily share with you.
Thank you.
Were you asking like that? Yeah, we share.
Yeah.
Were you like asking about passive income?
No.
Okay, like where to find work.
So in a couple of months' time, I might be releasing like a nutritional supplement that I'll just be selling just in Bali for just now. What would be your suggestion as to how to market that? I suppose, like get people interested in buying it.
Why is it restricted to Bali only? Is it online or face to face?
Is what online?
Is the product that you're selling, is it face to face or online?
It's a material product, so it's a nutritional supplement.
Ah, okay. So why is it only restricted to Bali?
For just now, it's going to be restricted to Bali because you can't get it here, but you can get it everywhere else. So it's an untapped market.
I have a suggestion. Do you know who Aaron Machano is?
I do not.
Okay, Aaron is sort of our Ubud business coach in residence, and he has a local juice company among many other ventures.
Yeah.
And I would recommend contacting him. He would be a fantastic person to help you with this.
I know him. If you add me as a Facebook, I can introduce you and you can have a chat.
Yeah, and also just to add, so for tomorrow we are going to have this session as well with Aaron Machano.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because we've been working out with him these couple of months. And so tomorrow he's going to tell you about the how can you like maximize your product and everything. So yeah, I think that would be great if you can come and see how it goes.
Yeah, he's awesome. He will definitely be able
So
to.
he's the actual guy they're talking about. He'll be here
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll look him
He'll
up.
be
He's
here,
great.
the session itself, it will start at 3 p.m. So if you're free at the time, you just need to come here to the conference room.
My question is more about people starting out at the beginning of their career, but still at university, and I'm finding that it's kind of like making meaningful connections that actually lead to things, and actually adding value, and that's the thing that I struggle with the most, because I feel like you come out with a degree in a certain thing, but like you were saying about the skills, so that's what I've been trying to do now, is work out what are the key skills that I can offer someone, and so essentially kind of how to market yourself and how to generate connections with people.
What do you want to do here?
In what, in Bali?
I mean,
or in life?
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I mean,
what do you want to offer to people?
That's
Okay.
So that's
What is your skill? What do people compliment you for?
I'd say, communication and selling.
I mean, is speaking
Yeah,
and selling actual products?
I've done that.
Okay, what would you? What are your hobbies? What do you like?
Well, I really like technology. I really like.
Are you an engineer, an IT? You create
No, I'm
software,
getting into
hardware.
coding now.
Coding?
And especially like more digital marketing essentially.
So you create sites?
Yeah, well, I'm starting what I'm learning essentially. I'm not there yet. That's my point.
What's the final product? If you would finish it, what would it be? Would it be a website? Would it be some sort of a software? Like, what can you create that you would love to do?
I think I'm still figuring that out. Honestly, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So you're in a position where it's still very early for you to figure it out, and I know that I've gone through many careers up until now, and I don't know, something like between 300 and 500 different employers or clients, and so you're going to try on a lot of different things, and just go with what works right now, right? And then if that doesn't work, take what you learned from there and then take it to the next thing. There's a little exercise you can do where you basically draw, and you've probably seen this, and you know this one, where you draw 3 circles and you figure out, put a list in one, what are the things that I really enjoy doing? Another one, you figure out what is it that people will pay you for or have paid you for in the past, and then things that you're very passionate about, and figure out what is the overlap of that, what is a job that falls in the middle of there. Right, so for instance, I like telling stories. People have paid me to write scripts, and I've gotten paid for writing, articles and blogs and copy. And I'm passionate about sharing stories and information with people. So obviously, for me, being a copywriter and content writer is in the middle of that world, that intersection. So it's a little bit of self-discovery, and just try and learn as much as you can and be well-rounded and expose yourself to lots of different experiences early on, especially if you have great opportunities. An intern would start me up to pick a little bit about what you want to do, and I think it'll become apparent to you. But feel free to try on lots of different hats until you find the one that fits, or you may end up more of a polymath type and find that you like wearing 3 hats at the same time, which is a little tricky.
That's what
That's
what I've been doing this summer.
I do the same thing. It's just I get bored easy, so I haven't totally niched because I like to write different things. In the same week I might be writing about 2 different products and American football and doing fiction all at the same time, and it happens. So
I can give you a kind of aggressive technique, and you will know by today.
That's results.
Yeah. So if you want to hear, what's your name?
Simba.
So what you do, you go in front of the mirror, you look at yourself, and you say, Simba, what do you want to do? And you keep asking, you just walk in the room, you just look at the mirror, you just keep asking, and you know the answer. You already know the answer. It's just, I can go into it quite depth, but there's conscious mind and unconscious mind, you already know the answer. It's just you, and you by asking that question, your whole body will focus on that one thing, and it will use all the resources, the focus on that to get the answer, and then you will start remembering what made you happy in your life, the best memories, some sort of experiences, and then you will start getting like, Simba, you know the answer. What is the answer? Tell me. And you just keep talking to yourself. And I did this for 4 hours, and I found out. Honestly, no, I'm not joking. Like, you know the answer. If you're willing to do that, you can find it. You can find it each day. The question is, are you gonna do it? Because like the answer is like, I can give you a personal example. Like, sometimes you're in a shower and you keep asking some sort of question, like an idea just pops in because you are focusing on that. So we all have the answers. It's just like we're so distracted by all the noise that we can't see the answer. It's called negative delusional, some sort of like, you know when you have the keys in your hand and you can't find the keys. So it's that.
If at some point you look in the mirror and there's a completely different person there, your house is haunted and you need to have your landlord call a Balinese priest.
I just like my thought though is my whole like adult life has been to this one company, and that was my one identity. And so leaving that company was like kind of jumping off a cliff because I had no idea what I was going to do next. But obviously I was going to have to make money somehow. But I had the first time, like, I kind of fell into that company and I had, like, the free to do whatever I wanted. And so when I got here, everyone kind of joked because we had our, like, new members brunch and I said, I have no idea what I'm doing here because I really didn't. And so I've, like, met and talked to, like, so many people here. And by doing that, like, I found out, like, stuff that I do for free, I can actually get paid for. Yeah. So you're like young and you have all these like wonderful people around you. I think you can also like try a lot of different things out. And then because I'm also like doing some freelance writing because like maybe I really want to do that. Like you have the freedom to kind of try things out right now.
And when you get the answer or you get 3 answers, do all of them.
Yeah.
So if you have like 2 options, like I can give an example. I spend a lot of time in law, marketing, and stock trading, and I was like, which I should focus? Just do all of them, and then you know exactly what you want to do. Because you can't logically explain, but you can feel it, and the feeling will tell you to keep doing or stop doing that. So just get a big mirror and enjoy.
Also, just very quickly, sorry. One thing someone told me once that was super helpful was that even if you've got no idea like exactly how you get to where you want to go, if you look at job descriptions for jobs that you could never possibly do right now, but you think when you're like 20 years in the future, that would be a dream job to be like the, I don't know, director of this or the CEO of this, and look at what's actually in that job description and be like, what skills would I need, even if it was like so far advanced, like what skills am I totally missing from these lists that would get you there, and then it kind of like builds a plan for you like
Yeah.
Someone said it to me once and it's really
Thank you.
Okay.
I suppose for me, it's about obviously like Herbert and Herbert as a place that's obviously filled with all these amazing people, and it's a really creative environment where you can bounce off people and get an idea of what you kind of want to do and where you can move. But obviously, in like 2.5 weeks' time, I'm going back to London, and I was just wondering if there's any, I don't know, like platform or any way you can find other like hubs like this, or is it just like Bali's just a bit of a place and you have to go back?
Yes, and I actually struggled with that. It was one of the reasons I left LA, was because the moment I realized that this lifestyle and type of people were out here, and I realized I kind of had to switch my tribe completely, and I couldn't find it there, but I didn't really know where to look then. Now I would know where to look. There are a number of co-working spaces in London. You can use the coworker.com website. Leanne Beasley puts that together. She's awesome. You can get free day passes to a lot of co-working places on there, and you can try and plug in and find yourself a community there.
WeWork is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say WeWork is like everywhere, all over the States, and now it's like in Europe. I think it is.
Yeah, I've been in London
Yeah.
for 2 WeWorks, and they're both great.
Yeah.
And they have the same sort of like, again, like,
Well,
because I get the feeling that some of the bigger ones in like proper urban centres.
right, you might
are a
want
bit
to
more,
try
like,
and
cool
find more
to feel.
independent ones at first, or smaller ones to try and get that more community feel. WeWork, which they do have fantastic facilities, a lot of times you do have like a large company will have closed its local office and now sends all its employees to the WeWork. So you may not get that, and you're going to have to try on a few different ones, but that's going to be the best place to find it. And then use, what's the app? Meetup? Is it
Yeah.
Meetup?
Meetup.
Yeah, use Meetup.
Or
to find-
Nomad List.
Yeah, use Meetup or Nomad List and find groups of people getting together in your field or that are doing startup type things. There's a lot of that out there, and try and find your community that way. And then also, are you in school?
I just graduated.
Okay. So possibly through your alumni program too, you
Yeah.
may also find some interesting opportunities
Just
there.
top of that, yes, you could do that, and I agree that's a great system. However, I found out that by giving speeches in your specific area, skilled, you will able to connect with people who want to connect with you, because now you're just going into this room and you don't know who does what. If you give a valuable speech, people will just connect with you, and that's, I think, the best way to connect. So for example, when I got here, I didn't know anyone. I was just living under a rock. I've done the speeches, I kind of know the whole
It's
buzz
a
right
really
now.
nice rock though.
Yeah. So
And also
yes,
events
go
like
to
that,
events.
Because I mean, I don't like currently have the skills.
Yes, you have.
Well.
Yes, yes, you have. Yes, you
I
have.
would go to like
Positive
events.
I was gonna say hackathon, so
Yeah.
I don't know if in London
Yeah.
this is a big thing, but like they really need,
Hackathons.
we have a lot of techie people, they really need like
Startup
all
weekend.
sorts of
Yeah.
types to like join teams. I found that's like a really good way to start getting with people
Yeah.
who have ideas or like, you know, you can
Yeah.
kind of like attach yourself to teams.
I
to do
built like
interesting
a
things.
strong network just by going to conferences and networking, and like
Yeah.
I'm always there by myself, and like I'm a pretty extrovert person, but in those environments sometimes I'll be like very like shy, and then I just have to maybe some liquid courage, and then you just go out and like meet everybody. And then just because you'll be so hungry, people love that, and they'll introduce you to other people. And just be crazy on LinkedIn. If you like love a company or like love what this person is doing, like reach out. Like you be surprised that people would just be happy to like have coffee with you, just to like kind of get to know you and help you like connect.
Yeah,
with
it's
people.
amazing that with LinkedIn and Twitter that we do have this access to literally anybody doing anything at this point, and a number of people will be open to that, you know. So if you want to meet the person running that company, shoot them a message, ask them.
One thing to top it up, it's like every co-working space has its own different theme, like in Disneyland. So South Bank, seriously, South Bank, we work at South Bank, everyone just gets drunk every day for the rest of the week, while in Oxford, it is, I was there for a year. And then Oxford Circus is a bit more corporate.
Yeah, no, coworker.com has some good reviews of the place as well.
It's true. Come on.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Let's
We're
go.
running
We
short
have
of
a
time.
limit of time, so
Okay,
let's go.
So maybe I'll pass on because
No, just go on.
no, honestly, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want a copy of that list that I was going to offer her?
Yeah, that's
for?
fine.
Yep.
Okay.
How would you gamificate a marketing funnel, digital marketing?
How did you a marketing funnel?
No, how do you gamify a marketing funnel?
What do you mean by a gaming
Because
funnel?
I've been to some conference in LA, and they say the purity of business is gamification.
Yeah.
So you make everything a game.
Yeah.
And I've been always super interested about how can you gamificate a marketing funnel.
I'm not following you. Sorry.
So you basically take a
How to create a funnel through, with your products?
Just like a normal fractal funnel.
Yeah.
Alright? How would you gamify that funnel? Make it a game.
Turn it into a game.
Yeah.
It's a very specific question.
Yeah.
Talk to me after that. So, because
Yeah.
I need to know what's your product, what are the pain points, what are the the pleasure point.
Yeah.
That's like, why are we here?
Yeah.
Yep.
I have more of a question about like kind of mindset and where you guys have been with this, but being kind of new to the digital nomad space, like how do you, there's like only so much kind of like willpower to make decisions, and when you're in like a, you know, predictable environment, like you go to your office, you know where things are, you don't have to think about that, and so you can spend a lot more mental energy on your actual work. Like what are techniques you guys use to like create your own kind of environment where you don't have to think too hard or become anxious about like, oh, where am I going to get this? How am I going to, just like basic functions like, oh, what if it's like noisy outside today? Or like, where am I going to get lunch today? When like, you know,
How
maybe
to be
like when you are not a digital
productive?
nomad, you have like very
That's a great
predictable
question.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm finding I'm spending mental energy places I never did before
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, I like, everything's in flux at the same time.
Right, and so there's a lot of decision fatigue and then confusion, and then you have a very variable environment. So some of that is, for me, scheduling. Like I plan stuff out during the week for the most part. I try and know what I'm going to work on each day, where I'm going to work on it, hopefully. I try and leave myself some flexibility because I'm here and I'm being a digital nomad. So often, although I am often at Ubud, I like to know that I can go, you know what, today it's raining, I'm going to go to Rome or this cafe that I like instead as a backup. So maybe leaving myself some options, but a limited amount, and you'll develop those with time. And then as far as like getting different things, like that can especially be an adventure here, like, oh, I need to buy shaving cream. Well, you might just go to Bintang and they're going to go, sorry, shaving cream finished. And then you're going to go to you know, the drugstore and they're going to say the same thing. So you have to, I try and approach those with a mindset of like, it's going to be an adventure and it's never going to be exactly what you thought it was going to be, and it's going to be something different every time, and you just kind of have to sign up for that. And that's the way that I personally deal with it. And then yeah, sometimes things it's going to be noisy, but maybe bring good headphones. Sometimes it's something I learned in Bali very early on was you're going to have this huge to-do list, and you need to be grateful if you manage to get 3 things done that day. And if you manage to get 1 thing done that day, you did about as good as everybody else on the entire island. And that's just how this island works. And sometimes when you go to another island, Koh Phangan was the same way. It was like, okay, I got 1 thing done today. I just need to pat myself on the back and not stress out about it. And so you have to definitely changing your expectations because of the fact that you're traveling and you're in an environment when it's going to be random, and try to do things to relax yourself and put yourself in the mindset where you're going to be accepting of that. I do daily meditation and visualization practice. It takes 20 minutes total, 10 minutes of meditation on an app, and then 10 minutes just visualizing my day, my week, how it's going to feel when I do those things, and try not to, it's hard to get out of it, but try not to be in the Western mindset of like, I'm going to do 37 things all day long, and because a lot of times things are there's going to be a ceremony going by, and suddenly you're going to be in traffic for an hour, and what are you going to do about 20 of those things on your list? You're just not going to get to it. So it's just kind of being open and accepting that.
I can, so I'll give you 2, and if you want more, I can tell you to get the full answer. Have a routine. So decide not to decide. So when you look up, everything is already there. So for example, I use a program called OmniFocus on the app. So when I click, I have my routine, my to-do list. I know exactly what I need to do, and I don't need to think of anything. I just go. Also, rule number 2, do 1 thing at a time. Everything. So if you're working on a project, just do that project. Don't try to open 3 other browsers to find some sort of other information because you'll need it in a few hours. We cannot multitask. It's been proven. It's like this myth is busted. Like you cannot do. It's just you're switching from one task to the other. And also, I wrote a book exactly about that because I had this freaking problem, and I've done the research of about like 200 hacks, and I condensed it into like 8 of them that like the most easiest takes the least amount of time. So if you want to go to my site what'syourlifepurpose.com/shop, you can get that ebook, and it will give you all the things you need to be productive, stay focused. And I can give a personal example. When I implement a lot of work, I increased my earnings by 4 times. So I was making a few $1,000s, and then I started doing everything. I was closing $27 a month and a half. It's like, because you can really focus, you're very specific to what you're doing, and you're not wasting time on anything. So for example, people will invite me somewhere, I'm not interested. It's just like, but
that's why I said no when you tried to invite me to that party the other night.
Yeah.
One other thing too, and I think you're already doing it because we've talked, and it's important for everybody else, is take time for self-care. Very important. Like you can't be going 20 hours a day here. I mean, you can, but eventually you're going to get sick, and then that's going to end up costing you time and money that you can't afford in the end. So yeah, take time to make sure you get enough sleep. Try and eat healthy. You can get a massage here it's pretty damn good for about $7 US. I get at least one a week. I would totally recommend doing that kind of thing. Take time to not work, close up the laptop. It's hard to go for a walk here, but you can go trekking, or you can go up in the Campohan Bridge, or jump on your scooter and go to the beach if you dare. Get out and get away from the laptop a little bit, and it's going to make you more productive when you come back to it.
Download an app, Breathe Plus, on the App Store, and Wim Hof Method. These 2 apps I do it every morning. Breathe Plus is like a box breathing. It's used by the Navy SEALs because they have a very stressed, like they're going to the battle. So it's like you breathe, you hold 4 seconds, you inhale 4 seconds, so it's like 4, 4, 4, 4. And when you do it I do it for 25 minutes, you can do with 10 minutes. You'll feel so relaxed, your cortisol levels will go down, you'll like really know where you are, like you'll be in control. Like, and another thing what I do is your mind, you can control your mind. So sometimes I like, you're my bitch, I say this to myself, like you're my bitch, like I have this full control over you. So sometimes, because it's like, sometimes it goes on autopilot, it wants to control, like, or you get invites, or you get like, no, I'm controlling you, bitch. I'm in control. So it's like some sort of, and also,
you can do that.
This is just my personal. This is what works. Like, if you go online, there's a lot of noise. This has just been what's really working. And Wim Hof method is to reset your body. Well, you can just Google. There's an app, really powerful. So like, you do these exercises, and you're like really like on top of things.
Okay, that's my question. So,
Okay.
that was your question. The financial.
Yeah, last question.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
I'm a graphic designer, and my question for me is how can I become from an executive designer to an art director? You know the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the steps to get it.
Are you good?
Yeah.
So have you approached people to get hired as an art director?
Not really, because the last 8 years I was in one company as an in-house designer and only executive, because there were no art directors, and now I quit my job and travel a little bit, and
so why don't you do some small projects for smaller fees, so you can be as an art director?
Yeah.
Even do it for free.
Yeah, I do.
Build some credits.
Create create a portfolio, and then just approach big companies. Like I know one person in Dojo who was an art director of Apple.
Yeah, and also talk to some people that are already doing that job. Use the Hubootians community, use your professional network. Just pull people aside for a coffee or do a quick phone interview, whatever, and just be like, how did you get from A to B, and what can you tell me very specifically about what I need to do that? As neither of us are graphic designers, we may not be able to give you, well, yeah, you do everything, but talk to the people in your field that are specifically doing only that one thing, and find out what they did, and then model them.
One of the probably the most common kind of a dumb answer is Google it. Everything is Googleable. Like there's so much information, there's so much noise, but if you spend a lot of time, you'll see the patterns. Like, what do you need to do to become an art director? Like they will, like there's blogs about it. Like you can actually find it, and knowledge is not power, execution is power. So once you hear that, what are you doing with that information? So are you actually, like, cause like the things will start changing in favor when you start approaching people, sending your CV or they just, or like for example, like a really cool way to get an art director for a specific company. Create a sales page, create a video, you as a service, like, hey, and create like, instead of a button, buy now, hire, a guy, if you know a company, Mind Valley. So a guy really wanted to work as an intern there. It's really hard to get there. So he created the sales page. He created a Facebook ad targeting Vision and his team, and when people from Mind Valley went on Facebook, they saw his ad, they clicked on it, and they saw his sales page. Hi guys, I want to become an intern, and blah. This is like, wow, this guy really took the time. So like, you can freaking do anything. It's like if it's like go to that company, give some sort of like some sort of your artwork, like just meet them, like build a trust. So the only way to build a trust is actually they need to get to know you, who you are. So when they have this kind of connection with you, they will hire you. Oh, I like this guy. And also on a personal note, 80% of the money you'll receive depends on your ability to connect with other people, and 20% will be based how well you can do the job. If people will hate you, they will not hire you, even if you can do the job really, really well. This is what I found. So if you can do amazing website, but you're shit at communication, you're like an asshole. Like you will not get. If you get the job, you will not get referrals further down. Like 80% is just pure communication with your client, and he must like you. So I spend a lot of time going through the courses, how to relate to people, how to connect with them, how to listen, and all that other stuff. So communication is the key in this business, I think.
So yeah, and the other quick thing I would add for you is if you feel like you're qualified already to do that position, change your professional profile on LinkedIn to what it is that you want to be doing, and start reaching out to people as if you are that thing, because you are that thing now, because you just decided that you were. And you'll be amazed at how effective that actually works. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We've gone quite a bit over. Thank you all very much. I hope we were able to answer some questions for you. I'm sure Kashfi has a few closing